our members here.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Don Frodejas. I am from the Philippines. And I work in the government. I was told by Ms. Lalaine to prepare a presentation on best practices on accessibility in the Philippines. So here's my outline. So I will be talking about the laws that support programs for persons with disabilities in the Philippines. And then I will talk about the salient features of the law on accessibility. And then I will show you some audit activities that we had. And then, so the laws that we have for now, these are the major laws. We have the Magna Carta on disability. Magna Carta is also the mother law. The mother law on disability.
Mr. Don, can you press on the PowerPoint?
Again?
Enlarge the PowerPoint.
Larger, yeah.
Larger.
Okay.
Press on the no. Press on the cup. The cup down. Down. And the cup.
Para lumaki yung screen.
Press on the
okay,
cup.
Wait. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So again, my outline is the following. So laws that support programs for persons with disabilities. Second is the salient features of the law on accessibility, and then some of our audit activities done to implement some of the laws mentioned in accessibility. So these are the supporting laws that we have. The Magna Carta on disability. Magna Carta means mother. Magna means mother. Carta means the law. So the mother law on disability, that is Republic Act 7277. We also have a law on accessibility and mobility. We also have the law on implementation of programs and services for persons with disabilities, that is RA 170, and other laws. So the purpose of I will be discussing to you this afternoon the accessibility law, or the BP 344. BP 344 was passed in 1983. Its objective is for persons with disabilities to participate fully in social life and the development of societies. That means the intention of the accessibility law is for persons with disabilities to join the social life of the community. Not that they are not just they are just recipients of dole outs or gifts, but they themselves can work and survive and sustain what they need. Okay. Second is that when they work, the law will give them work. They will provide means for them to work, for them to become persons that are contributors to the society. That is the intention of the accessibility that we have. And then the law says, in order for the objective of that law to be accomplished, these are the requirements. Number one, building permits. No license or permit for construction or repair or renovation of a public and private buildings for public use can be given without complying with the following requirements. Number one, accessible ramps. Okay, number two, okay, ramps, workplaces, accessible schools or educational institutions, accessible sports complexes, accessible airports, accessible recreation centers and complexes. Miss Lalaine was at the mall yesterday. So she went to the shopping malls and she was able to experience the services being offered by that big mall, because the mall is accessible. And then no building permits for construction will be granted unless the design has the public parking spaces. So the picture here below is my office. Before, we have no signage for persons with disabilities. So anybody can park here. And anybody can park anywhere, but the persons with disabilities are the most affected. They cannot find a space for them to park. So I requested the office, our office, to provide a signage for particularly for persons with disabilities. But the office won't grant it unless that space will be shared by the senior citizens. So I compromised and I said, okay, let's put that 2 spaces, one for the senior citizens and one for the persons with disabilities. Okay. No public utilities shall be granted or issued franchise unless that public utility or public transportation has enough parking and has a ramp for passengers. And another requirement is that there should be a bus stop designated for disabled persons. Another requirement is that it is against the law to discriminate persons in transportation. So it is unlawful, okay, for anybody to discriminate a person with disability. So for instance, in the Philippines, we have designated seats for disabled persons behind the bus driver. And once another person sits on that, and once a able-bodied person sits on that place designated for persons with disabilities, that person can be accosted and reported to the law. And then section 2 of our accessibility law says that in public transportation, there should be display of posters or stickers in order to generate public awareness of the rights of the disabled, and then they would be able to understand the needs that we have, the needs of persons with disabilities. So it is a requirement for every public transportation to put up or to display posters and stickers for persons with disabilities to make them aware of our needs. And then these are the offices that are mandated to formulate rules and regulations to implement the law on accessibility. Number 1 is the Public Works and Highways. Number 2, the Department of Transportation. And number 3, the National Council on Disability Affairs. These offices are mandated, they are required by law to prepare rules and regulations to implement the accessibility law that we have. Okay, this is one example. The Department of Public Works and Highways issued a department order in 2009 requiring that all national roads should comply with accessibility law. That is, they should have ramps, they should have railings, the concrete pavement should be passable. Like, and other things are that it should have drop curbs, curb cutouts, walkways, handrails, open spaces, signages, and crossings, among others. So this is the office responsible for the development of 17 cities in Metro Manila. You see, in Metro Manila is composed of 17 cities. And this office here the office called Metro Manila Development Authority is the one responsible for the development of all the cities. It coordinates all the services, it coordinates all the functions, so that the cities will have at least uniform implementation of the accessibility law. So, but only in 2018 did the Metro Manila Development Authority designated a focal person. And this focal person, once he was designated, created programs, projects, and activities for persons with disabilities. The focal person also established the so-called Metro Manila Accessibility Task Force, meaning that we now have a task force to look into the accessibility of buildings in the whole of Metro Manila, in the whole of 17 cities. This is quite a very daunting, this is a very big task for us to do. So what we did, we received the offer of volunteer organizations, the non-government organizations, for help in conducting audit activities. So one example is that this one place, this is one big public bus terminal. And the people you see here are the members of the task force, and all of them belong to the non-government organizations. They are volunteers. They don't receive any salaries. Okay? So I will tell you later about the other part of the task force. Those who are being paid. So this group, which I headed, conducted an audit in these buildings, in this particular terminal, and we saw a lot of problems. Number one is that the one on your left side, with the one in the wheelchair facing the glass door, that is an elevator. Okay. Number one problem that we encounter is that this elevator,
Mr.
not
Don,
working.
I have
Yes.
one question. This task force you are having, they are preparing the place for accessible. For example, they are making the ramps, and who's paying the price or the money for doing the ramps or the accessibility items?
Yes. Once we conduct the audit, we collate the data, and then we submit this to the Department of Public Works for them to take care of the works to be done. They will be the one to evaluate the location, and then they will provide the needed ramps based on the accessibility law. So we don't do this ourselves. We submit our findings to the office of the Department of Public Works. That office will be the one to do the correction of that
So the
area.
task force is only doing the audit, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
the
these
recommendation, the audit, and including the recommendation.
okay, so they are doing the audit and the recommendation.
Yes.
All right, thank
Because
you.
the function, the task of the task force is to find, is to look into the areas and see if these places are really compliant with the existing laws. Although there are laws that are really, there are facilities that are compliant. Okay, let me give an example. This one here looks compliant, but we make sure that our audit team have with us a person with disability to test the accessibility of that facility. So first, in the bottom left side, you can see here the ramp and the stairs. The ramp is good at the first glance, but if you will try to see the stairs going to the second floor, that means the ramp is not continuous. Okay? You can go only halfway towards the second floor. That's one problem. And the other one is the the ramp is too steep. Because of this, we wrote the Department of Public Works and Highways, we wrote the local government also, and the owner of that build of that establishment to make the necessary corrections. We gave them the law and the design, and then after submitting all these requirements, we told them that we'll be back. It so happened that pandemic happened, so we were not able to come back. But we hope that when we come back there, the facility is already accessible. And then we also audited this one area here. This is one of the largest public terminals in Metro Manila. So we have with us now this time technical people from the government, from the Department of Public Works and Highways, from the National Council on Disability Affairs, and some people from the local government. So we have members who belong to the sector of the blind, and then we have two from the sector of the physical disability. If you can see, Ma'am Lalaine is there joining us during the audit of that place. And then we do not only test the compliance with the requirements, we test whether that with the requirement is possible. So if you can see here, the guy had some difficulty climbing that ramp. You know why? The ramp is very steep. So we in our recommendation, we told the owner, the guy in the guy in the white shirt, we told them, okay, this is the problem. You have ramps, but the ramp is not enough. You still have to do more than that. And then we check the toilets. You have toilets which looks like accessible, but at a closer look, there needs a little bit of correction to be compliant with the requirements of the law. So these are the offices created to attend to the concerns of persons with disabilities. So we have 2, 4, 6, 6 of them, and aside from the non-government organizations participating also and attending to the needs of persons with disabilities. So we have the National Council on Disability Affairs. Then we have the Department of Public Works and Highways. We have the Department of Transportation. We have the Department of Interior and Local Government, Department of Tourism, and our office, the Metro Manila Development Authority. Okay, now Congress. Congress, as of late, has been very supportive of us. No, we have they have revived a lot of laws that has something to do with persons with disabilities. And in fact, we were attending committee meetings, committee hearings, in order to make some recommendations on the proposed laws. So Congress is now very active in attending to the needs of persons with disabilities. Aside from that, we also have the Office of the President. The Office of the President has an office called the Human Rights Committee. And that committee also attends. Part of the human rights that we have is the rights of persons with disabilities, for accessibility, for education, and for other services. And then these are some of the non-government organizations we have. Okay, these are some of the 5 of more than 100 groups, non-government groups, organizing themselves to make sure that their problems, their challenges are being heard by the government. Okay, thank you. That's all. Any question, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Don, for your nice presentation. If anybody would like to ask any question.
No.